It might not look like much, but even a slow drip like this can waste thousands of gallons of water every single year and cost you quite a bit more than you think. And that frog is clearly appalled. I measured this one at about 2 drips per second, and it took 23 minutes to fill 16-ounce measuring cup. So at that rate, you're losing about 8 gallons a day, or almost 3,000 gallons every single year, just from one faucet. And if you're on city water, that could cost you $15 to $40 per year. And if it's hot water, which this leak actually is hot water, you're paying to heat the water that's leaking out, and so then that can cost you upwards of $60 or $100 every year. And if you're on well water, costs might be a little less, but it's still not free. Every time your pump has to turn on, that's extra wear and tear. And if you have hard water or rusty water, which this happens to be, drips can really add to the stains in your sink, and over time that can start to look pretty ugly, and it can actually damage the finish on your fixtures in your sink. The good news is that it's really easy to fix, and I will show you how to do that. First step is to determine where your water shutoffs are. They're usually under the sink in the cabinet, but you might have to turn off the water to the whole house. But thankfully this one has the shutoffs right in an easily accessible area. Alright, now that we have the water shut off, the leak has stopped. We're going to take the handle off. Usually you can turn it and see, I've already got it loosened up. But there's an Allen set screw in there that holds the handle on. So you take that off, and then there's a retaining collar here called a bonnet, or a retaining nut, and so you need to get a wrench, some adjustable wrench on that, and that should loosen up fairly easily. Get that off of there, and then this cartridge here is all that you need to replace to fix most of the leaks in these faucets. And it takes a little bit of effort sometimes to work it back and forth. You have to loosen up the O-ring seals that are in there and any other deposits that have gotten it in there. So one trick to pop these cartridges out of here is to take a screwdriver or a blade, something thin, and carefully get between the cartridge and the threads and just pop that up there. Just be careful not to damage the threads. So what I do on these faucets is I pop the cartridge out and I just visually inspect, see what kind or what style this is, and then I look at the brand, try to determine what brand it is. This is a Moen faucet, and then I just go on Amazon and search for Moen cartridge replacement cartridges for 2-handle faucets, and this popped up, and then I just visually verify that the product looks like what I'm trying to replace. And there's only a few different styles, so if you get it close and visually match it, it should be good. So now we have the new cartridge, and it's pretty straightforward. You just reinstall it, and there's a little notch usually in here and a little matching piece, a little matching feature on the cartridge. So when you put it in, you just want to make sure that those line up, and you work it in until everything is fully seated. And once that's in there flat, but you need to work it down a little bit more. Seems to be a little pressure built up in there. Then you get your collar piece screwed back on. And you need to get it wrench tight, but not, you don't want to go too crazy with the torque. Once you get the bonnet nut screwed back on there, Everything is tightened back up like it should be. And you take your handle and make sure it fully seats down and has the correct range of motion. And then you tighten it back into place. And then do the same thing for the other side. And once everything is tightened back up, turn the water back on and test it out. Alright, got everything tightened back up. With $17 in parts in a few minutes, you just saved thousands of gallons of water in a year and maybe up to $100 in other costs. And everything will stay neater, cleaner, and nicer. So, good job.